Now, some examiners are really caring about definitions. So they might ask you that define drug interaction. How will you define? You will say that when a drug is administered, a response occurs. Okay? If a second drug is given, the response of the first drug is altered and a drug interaction is said to have happened. So you can define drug interaction in this way. Now, what is the result of drug interaction, or what is the importance of learning drug interactions? Because drug interactions can lead to beneficial effects and harmful effects. Okay, so beneficial effects when used purposely to therapeutic advantages. We sometimes use drug interactions to get some therapeutic benefits. These are beneficial effects, and most of the times drug interactions are harmful, and sometimes we are aware about the drug interactions, and sometimes the patient may take drugs unnecessarily and drug interactions can occur. Now come to the types of drug interactions. According to the way of occurrence, these are of two types. One is intended, as I have mentioned, for therapeutic benefits. For example, in TB, leprosy, malaria, hypertension, we use so many drugs together. And the other one is unintended, that is harmful, and most of the drug interactions are harmful. Now come to a few examples. Drug interactions occur drug interactions may occur outside the body, may occur pharmacokinetically, or may occur pharmacodynamically. Okay, what does it mean, or what do they mean? Let's get into details of them. There may be drug interactions even before administration into the human body. Before administration, drug interactions can occur. For example, if you give IV fluid, if you mix diazepam in IV fluid, okay, then precipitation of diazepam can occur and there will be no effect of the diazepam. Okay, if you give diazepam in IV fluid, then there will be precipitation of the drug. Then come to protamine, zinc, insulin and soluble insulin in the same syringe. If you take protamine, zinc, insulin and soluble insulin in the same syringe, then there will be precipitation of insulin and there will be no effect of insulin. Now come to pharmacokinetic interactions. Pharmacokinetic interactions means interactions at the level of absorption, distribution, biotransformation or excretion. Now let's see a few examples at the level of absorption. There may be alteration of absorption through chelation, as I have mentioned earlier, a process by which a drug binds with a metal ion to form a complex, thereby reducing absorption and increasing excretion of another drug. For example, antacid with iron, there will be chelation and there will be less absorption of iron. If you give tetracycline and calcium, there will be less absorption of tetracycline due to chelation. Okay, next come to through alterations in gut motility. If you increase or decrease the gut motility, then there will be less absorption of the other drug. Okay, so if you give opioid analgesics or antidepressants, these drugs reduce gut motility and thereby they decrease absorption of all types of drugs. On the other hand, laxatives, which increases gut motility, they also decrease absorption of the other drugs. Now come to pH. There is a role of pH here. If you increase the gastric pH by giving antacids, then what will happen? There will be decreased absorption of acidic drug. As we know that acidic drugs are less absorbed in an alkaline media, so acidic drugs will be less absorbed in case of in the presence of antacids. Okay, now come to through alterations of gut flora. You know that there are so many organisms, there are so many normal organisms which live inside our gut, our intestine. Okay, so if we kill those gut flora, what will happen? For example, antimicrobials given with anticoagulants, that will lead to lack of vitamin K production by gut flora, because you have killed the gut flora by giving antimicrobial, so there would be less vitamin K production, so that causes potentiation of action of anticoagulants, and that will lead to bleeding. We will discuss this thing in detail when we will study anticoagulant drugs. Then you will become absolutely clear about the mechanism of anticoagulant drugs. For now, just remember these things. Then come to epinephrine and lidocaine. Now this is a beneficial drug interaction. What happens here? Lidocaine is a local anesthetic drug. It is given along with epinephrine. Okay, epinephrine is a vasoconstrictor which can cause constriction of blood vessels, and it is given during anesthesia. And what happens? There is prolongation of duration of action of lidocaine. The lidocaines, that means the local anesthetics, duration of action is increased. Also there is less bleeding, because adrenaline or epinephrine is a vasoconstrictor, so there is less bleeding in the surgical area, and there is less systemic adverse effects of epinephrine, because epinephrine will be absorbed less due to vasoconstriction. Okay, so these are beneficial effects, so you have to remember this interaction. This is very important for your exam. Now come to at the level of distribution. There are some drug interactions at the level of distribution. For example, tolbutamide and coumarin. So tolbutamide is an oral antidiabetic drug, and coumarin is an oral anticoagulant drug. What happens if we give those two drugs simultaneously? Coumarin replaces tolbutamide from its plasma protein binding sites. Then plasma concentration of tolbutamide increases. That means the free concentration of tolbutamide in the plasma increases, and that will lead to increased action of tolbutamide, and that may lead to hypoglycemic shock. There is another example. If you give warfarin and aspirin, then what happens? Aspirin displaces warfarin from its plasma protein binding. Similarly, so there is increased plasma protein concentration, plasma concentration of warfarin, and there is increased chance of bleeding, because warfarin is an anticoagulant drug. Now there are some examples at the level of biotransformation. We have already discussed about enzyme induction and enzyme inhibition. So in case of enzyme inducing drugs, if we give a drug along with an enzyme inducing drug, then the enzyme inducing drug will increase the metabolism of the second drug, or the primary drug you can say, and there will be therapeutic failure of the primary drug. For example, if you assume that oral contraceptive pill is the primary drug and rifampicin is an enzyme inducing drug, you are giving both drugs simultaneously. What happens? There is increased metabolism of oral contraceptive pills. Okay, so there is decreased plasma concentration of oral contraceptive pills, and there is contraceptive failure. Here is another example regarding sulfonylureas. You can read it from here. Then come to drugs and enzyme inhibitors. So similarly, if you use an enzyme inhibitor drug with another drug, that enzyme inhibitor will decrease the metabolism of the primary drug, and that will produce toxicity of the primary drug. How? For example, theophylline and erythromycin. Erythromycin is an enzyme inhibitor drug, so erythromycin decreases the metabolism of theophylline, So that causes increased plasma concentration of theophylline, and that will lead to increased action of theophylline. That may lead to theophylline toxicity, because theophylline is a narrow therapeutic index drug. So a small increase in plasma concentration may lead to severe adverse effects. Now come to at the level of excretion. Penicillin and probenecid, if you give these two drugs simultaneously, probenecid will inhibit organic anion transporter at renal tubules. What will happen? Penicillin cannot get excreted through the kidneys. Penicillin will not be able to get excreted through the kidneys, and there will be increased duration of action of penicillin, and this is a beneficial effect. Then come to lithium and thiazide. If you give lithium and thiazide diuretics simultaneously, then there is decreased excretion of lithium through the kidneys. Okay, because lithium and sodium competes for reabsorption within the renal tubules. So we will talk about these things later when we will study lithium in bipolar mood disorder. So you will not understand everything as a whole here, but just remember these things, that lithium thiazide diuretics decreases the excretion of lithium through the kidneys, and that will increase lithium concentration in plasma, and so there is chance of lithium toxicity.